This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, apparently
Oh,
my mom just started the recording. So now
okay.
you're being recorded. Um, so welcome to our Forgiveness Friday. Anyone who is here or who will be watching this video possibly later, I don't know. I've got a backlog of videos that I haven't used yet. But let me explain really fast what is emotional polarity technique. It is a totally different approach in emotional health care. Instead of relying on traditional approaches like talk therapy or medication, EPT relies on the science of forgiveness, and it helps people resolve the unresolved conflicts in their life using forgiveness, and it works for both adults and children. So if you're interested in that, keep watching, see if this is something for you, or check out some of our other videos, whatever you're interested in. And today, I'm going to be the practitioner, and Emma Shea is going to be my client. And where are you, Emma Shea?
I'm in Budapest, Hungary.
Welcome to this Zoom where it seems like you're just like you could be in another room, right?
Yeah, I know. I kind of wish I was.
Aw, me too. Okay, I'm turning it to active cameras just so I can see you and I can see
Oh
me.
yeah, that's I also want to see that. That's much better. It's
Yes,
not so
there.
awkward.
All right. So, you've done some EPT before, haven't you, Michelle?
Yeah, like like 13 years ago.
That's a while, some time has passed.
I feel like we mostly did the like family constellation.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
was a while. And
Yeah.
many things have happened since then. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, is there something in particular that you would like to focus on today? Anything specific? It could be COVID related or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm living by myself, so I'm quarantined
Yeah,
by myself.
okay. Okay.
But I think that and some of the things that have just been coming up through other like journaling and stuff that I've been doing related to that is just like the feeling of like, well, in this moment, obviously, like there's no dating happening, but but it doesn't actually feel that different from in general. And so I don't know. I feel like there's definitely some stuff there that I'm probably gonna cry, and
Okay.
that's gonna be great.
You have your
Yeah,
Kleenexes nearby and
yeah.
your
I'm gonna go grab
glass of
my
coffee.
Kleenex.
Yes.
So 1 second, I'm gonna go get my Kleenex. I'll be right back.
So if we're doing a remote session, usually what we do is we would get make sure, I mean, you kind of want to make sure you've gone to the bathroom, you got your water, you got your Kleenex. Sometimes, and sometimes with Kleenex, it's like when you have your rain jacket and it's not, you bring it with you, but it's not raining, or it doesn't ever rain. So now we're ready. All right, you got it. You're ready. You got your water, you got your Kleenex.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
All right, so is it, and I don't know what's going on in Budapest. Like, what are the rules? Like, is it you can't go outside? Is it
Theoretically, we're only supposed to leave our homes to go, grocery shopping. But the list of essential activities is kind of long. So I don't know. Sometimes when I do go shopping, I feel like other people are just like living their normal lives and like nothing has changed.
okay?
Um, but from Monday, we have to wear a mask if we go outside, like it's
Hmm.
mandatory.
Oh,
But
on
right
Monday
now,
that starts.
yeah, but it's not mandatory as of now. So,
So, are you? So is it just like feeling lonely?
yeah, I think that that's loneliness and just feeling like, I don't know, like if we're stuck with this for forever, like, like I think that undeterminedness of it is
Yeah.
really overwhelming. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
who knows? That might just be covering up some other stuff. So
And when or if are you coming back to the States or?
also undetermined. So another
Okay.
part of the the undeterminedness is like I was supposed to fly to the States like this next Friday, like a
Hmm.
week from today, to go to a wedding and be in the States for a week and then come back. And like the wedding got pushed to August. So I'm not going. But also, even if I wanted to go, like I can't use my plane tickets as they are. Like all the flights have been canceled. So
Yep.
it's just like, yeah, just really, yeah,
Yeah. Even if you like went left, like when could you come back? And although like,
right.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like, well, if I leave now, like, can I still renew my work permit for next year if I'm not in the country? Well, I don't know.
Oh
And
yeah.
like, if I left and then didn't come back, like, just there's a bunch of other things that it's like, what's that gonna mess with? But also, like, if I don't go, like, am I gonna be stuck here until Christmas? Like, or like, am I
Mm.
indefinitely stuck in Europe unless I want to move back to the States permanently?
Like
Like,
those are
so
your
stuff
only
like that.
options. Yeah. You
Yeah,
can't.
it's like either I stay here for forever or I stay there for forever.
And yeah,
Yeah,
you just don't know right now. Yeah.
yeah, because
Okay.
neither of those is my preference.
You're like, I like going back and forth like I did before.
Yeah,
Um, and
exactly.
seeing people in real life, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so my mom, if also for anyone who's watching, I don't know if you'd be able to see the chat box, but there's a chat box with play-by-play slash interesting
Yeah,
slash
I'm
commentary.
trying to, I want to not see the notifications so that I am not like annoyed, but I don't know how to change that setting. Well,
And, oh well.
that's okay.
Okay. So like here we have, but my mom on the side has uncertainty is very overwhelming, and okay, we'll go with that. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we're trying to. Um, I'm just writing things down. I'm like, was somebody just in here a second on the camera? Okay, uncertainty is very overwhelming, and sort of. I guess in some sense, it's just like peace with uncertainty.
Yeah,
Is uncomfortable sometimes, even like as if we ever were certain about anything.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Just normally you feel like if I make a plan, like it's probably going to work out. But now, like, I literally cannot make any plans except for like going to the grocery store. And even
Yeah.
then, I don't know if they're going to have the things that I want them to have.
Well, and there's the uncertainty about like relationships too, because you're like,
Yeah,
how is this going to?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Because it just feels very, well, it is uncertain. But I mean, relationships definitely look different, but I think there can be peace with the uncertainty, but also peace with however relationships look now.
yeah,
And that
yeah,
they can still grow, they can still flourish. It just isn't what we're used to.
yeah,
Even in Florida, I mean, I've seen people in real life, but it's like awkward. Like I have to stay away from you, or you know,
yeah,
where
yeah.
you can't like you have to like keep arm's length and be really awkward. Like anyway. Okay, so in EPT we do muscle testing, we use magnets. I have all these little charts and things, and I'm writing things down on a clipboard. And so I am gonna test and see what your level of distress is on this, and this is the way I test. This is a tiny arm as my
Hmm.
have you ever been muscle tested outside of EPT? for anything?
No.
Okay, just curious because some people have. If you ever went to like a like a supplement or an herbalist or something, they use it sometimes.
No.
Distress is a 10. Elation is a 2. And all that means is you're not addicted to the uncertainty or like you don't enjoy the feeling of. But it's a little bit up. I've found with some of the COVID stuff, there's a little bit of elation because it's kind of like you're off the hook for things. Like,
Yeah.
like for some things,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm off the hook for all the things, any real responsibility if I want to, just because.
Yeah. Which is also like a weird thing with work, right? Like, I just, like, I don't know anything about what I should be doing.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, I do, and I do stuff for work, but it's all like, is this enough? I hope this is enough. I guess it's
And
enough.
are
Okay.
you like before? Were you teaching in a school, and now that you're teaching online for the school?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you mean. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I think I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Like,
that's why all teachers and students feel, or some parents are like, they're not doing enough, and it's like, no, they're doing fine. Like,
yeah. And like, just that on Wednesday, I'm auditing a grad school class for fun because why not? And they were like, oh, and by the way, like everything this term is pass or fail because with online only teaching, like it's only fair to do pass or fail. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish that our school would do that because that's how I feel is like there is no way for me to accurately gauge anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
It's like I can gauge if someone's passing or failing, and that's about it.
Yeah,
I
I
can,
know.
and that's what I can gauge in myself too. Is like I guess this is passing.
Okay. Stage of healing. So denial, anger, bargain, depression, acceptance, light emerging, creation of new life. Those are the 7 stages. I have a card somewhere, but it's not in front of me. And you're in anger. All right. And then I also check blocks to healing, which is showing up, paying attention, telling the truth, and letting go. And basically, if you can't do one of those things, then it's a lot harder to heal something. So showing up was weak, but maybe that's all of us sometimes. Like, and maybe it's just like showing up in the uncertainty and just kind of like letting it be a little bit more
Yeah.
without the feeling of being overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 1 issue. And who? Let's see. Self. It's yourself. Organ. Okay. Sorry, I'm just like pointing to different things. Let's see here. Organ is liver. And emotion was frustration. And it's your frustration with yourself. But before, I realized I forgot to do rapport because my mom didn't. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. It said on the side, but with the magnets or with your hands, since you have hands, we can do that. So it's hands on your head. I know you have those things on your head, but you kind of squeeze and breathe. So squeeze and breathe. We're gonna do it 3 times. And then if you can reach like right between your eyes and the back of your head, you can do the same thing. So a finger between your eyes and right on the back of your skull. So breathe in. Three times. All right, so frustration. So the emotion. Yeah, so I feel frustration with myself because do you have an answer? Yeah, that's the fill in the blank.
Okay. I feel frustration with myself because I feel like I'm not doing enough and
Probably like work and relationships and just like it's like you have all the
life.
time in the world and not yeah.
Yeah, and nothing's getting done. Um,
But it's
yeah,
all yeah, okay.
yeah. Um, yeah,
Well, it's interesting because not nothing's getting done is more the frustration than not doing enough. So my frustration with
yeah, yeah. Nothing's getting done. Yeah, that's true. That is much more. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess I feel frustration that I'm like lazy or I don't know. There's some,
like you feel
uh,
like you blame yourself a little bit.
yeah, like,
You're like we should all be eating healthy, working out, getting outside, but
yeah,
are we? No.
yeah, yeah. It's like, it's
We're just
like,
passing the day.
uh, yeah, like I just feel like I should be doing something and I'm not doing it, but also like I should have grace with myself, so it's okay if I don't do it, but then I don't do it and then I'm like, but am I not supposed to give myself that much grace or what is going on?
Okay. All right. So I'm testing for an original event. Original event, yes. You have felt like, or you've felt a similar frustration. So it's you and your three, but you feel your mom's frustration. I find many parents have frustration with toddlers.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah.
But it's her frustration with your dad.
Oh yeah, that's also not surprising.
So
Um
it's your mom's frustration with your dad when you're three. Is it because he's not getting anything done, or I don't know. What's the situation?
I mean, I don't know exactly, but from things my mom has told me, like I think some of the like getting left at home alone with a small child while
Oh,
he
so he
goes
was
off
gone.
to do,
Oh,
yeah, he was working and I
he
mean,
was
I
home.
don't know if by the time they were in Oregon then, we were in Oregon then. I don't know if he was, yeah, like I don't really know that much about that time period, but I know that my mom has expressed being uh feeling very alone then and also some of her, which this probably goes further back to when I was like a real tiny baby, but some of her like feeling like she's not going to be enough as a mom and she gave my older sister up for adoption when she was 17.
Hmm. How old
And
was your
so
mom when she had you?
25.
Okay, so there was some time.
Yeah.
Okay, but
No,
but there, but
she was 30. Sorry, she was 30.
so there was a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
but still, like there was probably that sort of residual frustration and loneliness of just like
Yeah.
of because because having you is going to bring up that loss. Did you have your sister yet? No.
No, she's 6.5 years younger. We're all
Okay.
far apart.
Wow, you guys are far apart.
I know. She was fertile for a long time.
Okay. Um. Yeah, it's like her frustration with your dad because he's not like I guess I'm sure there'll be other emotions, but
Yeah.
it it's like he's not there to help with. They're very like
Yeah.
separate lives.
Yeah. I also think that, my dad is such a like personable, like everybody likes him right away kind of person. And my mom's never felt that way. That like I think that
Mm.
she always felt like he was like so good at doing everything. And then she like never felt like she was like living up to things. And
Oh,
I think like even in like parenting, she maybe felt that way a little bit that like when he was home, like he was a great dad, and then she's like frustrated if he's not home and Yeah.
Frustrated with dad because he's just not there enough. Well,
He's not there, but even when he is there, like he's good at it and she feels like
not as
not
good. Oh, so it's
enough.
like, so like he is getting things done and she should be able to.
Yeah.
Like
And
he
she
does it
should,
all.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, that's an interesting thing to be frustrated about. So she just always felt a little bit lesser and kind of beat herself up about it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it does work that she feels her frustration with your dad because she's not getting as much done as like he can.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And then it's like a cycle of like comparing herself and then like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and not feeling enough and, you know, other depression related things in general.
All right. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna put a hand on your liver, which is on your right side. I'm like, what side is this? Right at your like rib cage, like right side rib cage,
Mhm.
right there. Like there it is.
Okay.
And then one hand on your forehead. And breathe in. Think about your mom's frustration with your dad. Breathe in. All right. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. And then mom. Okay. Nope. And then there's another feeling. It's your heart. It's heart. Lost and vulnerable. Your mom feels lost and vulnerable. Yeah, it's like a not good enough feeling essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. I know a lot of parents have been expressing these feelings of not good enough. Nothing is good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay, hand on your heart and a hand on your forehead. We're going to breathe in and think about your mom feeling lost and vulnerable because she doesn't feel like she is good enough. Breathe in. Breathe in. All right. Okay. And then I think that's it. So it's just your mom feeling not good enough and also feeling frustrated. Um, and we'll work in like feeling alone and just like not a good enough parent and it was just you and her, right?
Yeah.
And then just testing for trauma. It's a P2 trauma, so that again makes sense for not showing up. What were you like as a toddler, do you know?
Happy.
Okay, well that's what, but I mean, I was wondering, like, were you like the perfect toddler, or were you like were you...
I mean, my mom has said that I didn't always like to follow her instructions, but I do know that the number of times that she gave me a spanking was like 2 or 3 by the time I was like 5. So it wasn't like I was crazy. I just
Yeah,
had a strong attitude.
okay.
Is
Well,
that
that's why
surprising?
no, I was just wondering because I'm like trying to get the picture. Like, it's just you
Yeah.
and your mom at home, and your dad is at work, and like maybe it's like your mom might feel like, oh, this is an easy toddler. I can give her something to do, but all I end up doing is just laying around, not doing the things I need to do. You know, like
Yeah.
she's like kind of similar to our current scenario a little bit, where it's like I should be able to do more, but for some reason just like can't make myself do it, and then
Yeah.
I get down on myself because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and my dad was a campus minister then, so he was working with college students a lot. And I think some of the I think like before I was born, my mom just did all of those things with him, like as much as she could. I mean, she was working, but like all the nighttime activities she would go to with him. And then like after I was born for a while, at least like she didn't get to do those things. But I do know that like I went to a lot of things with my parents, so I don't know.
Mhm. Okay.
But just not being as much a part of the community and like my dad's ministry also.
Hmm. Okay. Well, and I was wondering about the showing up piece. Were you ever sick or injured when you were small?
I poured a cup of boiling hot water on myself and scalded my arm.
When?
Round one, maybe.
Okay, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
like as
yeah,
soon as you could like whack something.
yeah. I like pulled it off the counter or something, and it was too hot.
Maybe that was you're like time to follow instructions.
Yeah, I don't remember it, so
Okay. Okay. All right. It comes up more of an emotional trauma than a physical
yeah,
trauma for
yeah,
three at least. And it may just be like your mom really is the one who's not showing up and she has this anger at herself. So it's just like a lot of her own sort of feelings of, um, well, probably uncertainty, but also just loneliness and frustration and feeling lost and vulnerable. All right, so next is statements. I'm like, oh man, flying. All right, so next we're going to do some statements.
yeah.
And you can get comfortable, whatever you need to next. And so let's see here. So when I do statements, I follow a little card, but I also do them on the fly as well, which is often a variation on many of those statements. And sometimes I use a book and I follow those as well. All right, so you just got to repeat after me and then we'll breathe. So I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing.
I have to hold on to my mom's frustration when I'm 3
I have to hang on to my mom's frustration when I'm 3
with my dad
with my dad
because she believes he's better than her.
because he believes he's better than
Or
her.
she believes he's better than
She believes that he is better than her. Yeah.
her. Better at parenting and better at work and
Better
more
at
fun.
parenting, better at work,
And more fun.
and more fun.
Yeah, brave. I forgive my 3-year-old self
I forgive my 3-year-old self
for holding on to my mom's frustration
for holding on to my mom's frustration
um, to protect her
to protect her
from feeling alone.
from feeling alone.
Breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that this frustration
that this frustration
and feeling lost and vulnerable
and feeling lost and vulnerable
that my mom felt
that my mom felt
will always be this way.
will always be this way.
And breathe. I'm like, I was reading the notes, but my mom's just putting all the notes. She's just saying exactly what I'm saying on the I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that my mom's frustration with my dad
that my mom's frustration with my dad
and feeling like not a good enough parent
and feeling like not a good enough parent
was my fault
was my fault
because I existed
because I existed
and she had to parent me.
and she had to parent me.
And breathe. I forgive my 3-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 3-year-old self for believing
if she shows up
if she shows up
um happy
happy
um feeling safe, secure, and complete.
Feeling safe, secure, and complete.
That will just make my mom more frustrated.
That will just make my mom more frustrated.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive myself for believing.
I forgive myself for believing.
My mom has to change
My mom has to change
and feel good enough
and feel good enough
and feel more connected to others
and feel more connected to others
before I can let go of this frustration
before I can let go of this frustration
and feeling lost and vulnerable.
and feeling lost and vulnerable.
Breathe. I forgive my 3-year-old self
I forgive my 3-year-old self
for anything I did
for anything I did
that caused this frustration and lost and vulnerable in my mom.
that
Caused this frustration
caused this frustration
and feeling lost and vulnerable.
and feeling lost and vulnerable in my mom.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive myself for believing.
I forgive myself for believing.
I have to feel frustrated with myself
I have to feel frustrated with myself
that nothing's getting done,
that nothing's getting done.
and what is getting done isn't good enough.
And what is getting done isn't good enough.
Breathe. I forgive my mom
I forgive my mom
for holding on to this frustration
for holding on to this frustration
and feeling lost and vulnerable.
and feeling lost and vulnerable.
And breathe. I forgive my mom
I forgive my mom
for not being able to just show up and be my mom
for not being able to just show up and be my mom
without feeling alone
without feeling alone
or not good enough.
or not good enough.
And breathe. Yeah, it's like your bedtime day or almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I forgive my dad
I forgive my dad
for bringing up this frustration in my mom.
for bringing up this frustration in my mom
With life being easier for him.
with life being easier for him.
Yeah, breathe. I forgive my 3-year-old self for believing
I forgive my 3-year-old self for believing
that if I was more like my dad,
that if I was more like my dad,
that would make my mom feel worse.
that would make my mom feel worse.
Breathe. I forgive my mom for believing
I forgive my mom for believing
she's not good enough
she's not good enough
and um and she's all alone.
and she's all alone.
Breathe. I forgive my mom
I forgive my mom
for for holding on to frustration
for holding on to frustration
about the uncertainty in our family.
about the uncertainty in our family.
And breathe. I forgive my mom
I forgive my mom
for not being able to show up for me when I was 3
for not being able to show up for me when I was 3
because she was afraid
because she was afraid.
she wouldn't be able. She was afraid she would disconnect just like with my sister.
She was afraid she would disconnect just like with my sister.
Yeah, right. I forgive. Let's see here. I give my mom permission to accept,
I give my mom permission to accept,
even though she couldn't be there for my sister.
even though she couldn't be there for my sister.
She was there for me.
She
She
was
was,
there for me.
and it was good enough.
And it was good enough.
Yeah, right. I give my mom permission to forgive me
I give my mom permission to forgive me
for blaming her
for blaming her
for my frustration
for my frustration
and feeling lost and vulnerable
and feeling lost and vulnerable
when things aren't getting done,
when things aren't getting done,
or I'm alone,
when I'm alone,
or doesn't feel like it's good enough.
or it doesn't feel like it's good enough.
Yeah, right. I give my mom permission to forgive me.
I give my mom permission to forgive me
I don't know. Well, I want to say for being an easy 3-year-old,
for being an easy 3-year-old,
where she could get lots of things done.
where she could get lots of things done.
Yeah, but it's like since she had the extra time, she felt like it wasn't good enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but she still felt like she wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Oh, how about I give my mom permission to accept
I give my mom permission to accept
uh, um, that I am safe, secure, and complete,
that I am safe, secure, and complete,
full of love, forgiveness, and happiness,
full of love, forgiveness, and happiness,
with her as a mom.
with her as a mom.
Yeah, Brie. Yeah, I'm thinking your 3-year-old self was just like enjoying life. didn't have a care in the world. Okay. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
If I feel safe, secure, and complete,
If I feel safe, secure, and complete,
love, forgiveness, and happiness,
love, forgiveness, and happiness,
that will make my mom feel worse.
that will make my mom feel worse.
Yeah, breathe. I give my mom permission
I give my mom permission
to uh, to s- mm, to feel safe, secure, and complete.
to feel safe, secure, and complete.
Love, forgiveness, and happiness.
Love, forgiveness, and happiness.
When the people she loves are doing well.
When the people she loves are doing well.
Yeah, breathe. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I'll never be good enough.
I'll never be good enough.
Breathe. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
The uncertainty is overwhelming.
The uncertainty is overwhelming.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
It's hard to connect to myself
It's hard to connect to myself
or to even connect with God.
or even to connect with God.
Yeah, breathe. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I will love and accept myself even when I am afraid.
I'm being too self-centered.
I'm being too self-centered.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I will love and accept myself even when I am afraid.
Um, I can't feel peace with uncertainty.
I can't feel peace with uncertainty
Without also feeling my mom's frustration.
without also feeling my mom's frustration.
Like I always have to scoot in to see the chat box. Let's see. Oh, okay, so without my mom's anger.
Without my mom.
Sorry, without my mom's frustration. Or
Without my mom's frustration.
with my dad,
With my dad.
because she's not getting as much done as him.
Because she's not getting as much done as him.
I am free
I am free
to show up
to show up
and do the best I can
and do the best I can
in my work and in my relationships,
in my work and in my relationships.
and breathe. Without this frustration, I am free
Without this frustration, I am free
to I want to say to recognize uncertainty was always there,
to recognize uncertainty was always there,
and I can feel love, forgiveness, and happiness with it.
and I can feel love, forgiveness, and happiness with it.
I'm thinking also in the terms of like planning. I'm thinking your mom probably again when she had you, it was like, and also when she had her first child, like it was all like uncertainty and not the plan and all that stuff. I forgive my mom
I forgive my mom
for believing.
for believing.
She has to feel frustration and lost and vulnerable
She has to feel frustration, loss, and vulnerable
when things don't go to plan.
when things don't go to plan.
And breathe. How about I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that when things don't go to plan,
that when things don't go to plan,
it's all my fault.
it's all my fault.
I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I can't, I forgive myself for believing I can't feel safe, secure, and complete
I forgive myself for believing I can't feel safe, secure, and complete
making a plan
making a plan
that might not work out.
that might not work out.
I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I can't show up for my own hopes and dreams
I can't show up for my own hopes and dreams
without feeling like they're going to get messed up.
without feeling like they're going to get messed up.
Which is really your mom's feeling.
Which is really my mom's feeling.
Yes, it is. I feel like she holds on to more of that like than anything. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I can't enjoy life
I can't enjoy life
without if a plan doesn't go as planned.
if a plan doesn't go as planned.
Yeah. I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
I love and accept myself even when I'm afraid.
If I show up for my plans, they'll be ruined.
If I show up for my plans, they'll be ruined.
Without this frustration and feeling lost and vulnerable,
Without this frustration and feeling lost and vulnerable,
I am free
I am free
to feel safe, secure, and complete.
to feel safe, secure, and complete.
Love, forgiveness, and happiness.
Love, forgiveness, and happiness.
And hope
And hope
in the plans I make
in the plans I make
that go to plan or don't,
that go to plan or don't.
or partly go to plan. You know? Okay. Without this frustration and feeling lost and vulnerable,
Without this frustration and feeling lost and vulnerable,
my mom is free
my mom is free
to um, to see she can live two plans, one
to
that
see
didn't go and one that did.
to see she is free to live two plans, the
Yeah.
one that happened and the one that didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and feel safe, secure, and complete in that.
And feel safe, secure, and complete in that.
Right. Well, and I mean, she, I want to say like her plans worked both ways. It's just,
Yeah.
um,
No, I feel like that's very true of a lot of our plans. It's like we're disappointed that something didn't work out the way we thought it would, but the thing that happened instead ends up being just as fruitful or just as much of a blessing as whatever the original plan was.
and
But that
yeah,
doesn't mean that there isn't grief over the missed
mhm,
plan.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. It's it's and also that you can't like have hope for a new plan,
Yeah.
or because I think sometimes when people's plans get bashed or something doesn't go, it's like you give up and you're like,
Hmm.
well, every plan's going to get ruined, or at least one, even if I made 10 plans and one was ruined, I still don't
Yeah.
want that,
Yeah.
And, but that's the way life is.
Yeah. I think your mom's been typing some suggestions into the chat box.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I can't tell if let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, there's some fun ones in there. She's like, these are for later. You can just copy and paste them for here. Let's see. How about, okay, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I can't have a romantic partnership. Oh.
I can't have a romantic partnership
Without feeling I will lose a child too.
without feeling I will lose a child too.
That's sad. Read. Some of these I've said. Let's see. Forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I can't feel safe, secure, and complete.
I can't feel safe, secure, and complete
Making a plan that won't work out.
making a plan that won't work out.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. We all need that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget. I'll do. We'll just double up. I love and accept myself.
Sorry. What?
I love and accept myself,
I love and accept myself,
even when I'm afraid.
even when I'm afraid.
If I show up for my plans, oh, they'll be ruined. We said this one, yeah.
If I show up for my plans, they'll be ruined.
Ooh, here we go. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
I still need to feel overwhelmed with uncertainty
I still need to feel overwhelmed with uncertainty
to remind me why
to remind me why
I shouldn't get anything done.
I shouldn't get anything done.
Yeah. Without this feeling of frustration and lost and vulnerable.
Without this feeling,
Pause. Let's see. Oh, I give my mom permission. Oh, this is a good one.
I give my mom permission
To let go of the life she may have lived.
to let go of the life she may have lived.
If she could have kept her first child.
If she could have kept Heidi.
Oh yeah, and then and I give myself permission
And I give myself permission
to let go of the future that doesn't exist,
to let go of the future that doesn't exist,
from a plan that didn't work out in the past,
from a plan that didn't work out in the past,
or how I expected,
or how I expected,
or wanted.
or wanted.
I acknowledge my grief and my mother's grief.
I acknowledge my grief and my mother's grief.
That I'm stuck here away from her and what we planned.
That I am stuck here away from her and what we planned.
All right. Let's see here. Without this pattern, I'm free
Without this pattern, I am free
to feel more peace with uncertainty,
to feel more peace with uncertainty,
and joy with making plans,
and joy with making plans,
and showing up to the and showing up to however they work out.
and showing up to however they work out.
Without this pattern, I'm free.
Without this pattern, I am free
Be a better person for the people that I love.
to be a better person for the people that I love,
To love myself more.
to love myself more,
And to love others more.
and to love others more.
In all of our uncertainty.
In all of our uncertainty.
Breathe. I'm reading. I'm like, sometimes she's typing new things and sometimes retyping. I'm free to letting God. Oh, here we go. This is a nice one.
I'm free to letting God
Present unknown good in my life.
Present unknown good in my life.
Now and in the future.
Now and in the future.
Yeah, because if you're not okay with like the good unplanned, then or the unplanned bad, then you can't be okay with the unplanned good. You kind of have to you got to take it both.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. How are you feeling?
Okay.
I feel like there was like a lot that was kind of brought up.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of.
Yeah. I think especially, it was a couple of things ago that we said, but just thinking about like my plans that I feel like have been thwarted or like things that like last year in the spring I was really sick and I ended up changing schools and moving to Budapest kind of as a result of that. When like I had planned to live in that town for however long I could, and was like really disappointed about that. And I don't know, I don't know if you remember at Pepperdine, but when I didn't get chosen to be an intern junior year, like that like came up a couple of days ago and like I haven't thought about that in years, but like that's like a plan that I had that did not, come to realism. Yeah. So like, what was it? There was one that really hit close to that I just felt like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like something in your body or like a place where it's like stuck a little?
Yeah. I mean, anytime I'm like getting close to the like emotional work, I feel like there's like my stomach is kind of like something's being released there or tight there or and just like I don't know.
And I get the sense like kind of post though like it simmers a little bit, it churns a little bit, and there might be some emotions later where you're like, what is like hitting me, but that's good. After you go to sleep. Okay, so I'm just retesting. Okay. All right. So the distress went down to a 5. The elation went down to a 2. So we got about halfway. I feel pretty good about that. I don't know. Like, I feel like you're like, now you're not thinking about so much COVID, but like other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you might also be thinking like, what can I do now? But you want to do it just because you want to do it for yourself, but also
Yeah.
letting go of some of your mom's motivations
Yeah.
probably makes you feel a little bit like, well, now what do I want to do if I'm not like doing it because to protect my mom?
Yeah.
So does that make sense? And then
Mhm.
stage of healing went to a 5, so that's acceptance. I'm hoping you keep going that direction so we can make some new things. Is there anything that like, what's the thing that you're like, I'm not getting enough done, or the thing that you want to do more of? Like, is it like interact with people online, or have you been talking to very many people since you've been,
And I feel like
or date? I don't know. I know some people
yeah,
are still trying.
I don't know. That feels
TikTok.
very like out there. Um, it just like all of the things that are bad about first dates like can't be better on Zoom, you know? Um, I don't know. I feel like I just so I've been really wanting to I started sewing my own clothes recently, and
Ooh,
like ever since, yeah, I'm wearing a shirt. I'm sewed myself.
I'm
Anyways, but since I've been in quarantine, it's been like, okay, great, I have all this free time, except then it takes me like all day to do like my school stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I just want like I just want to be creative, and then there's like it's like, oh, but now I have to like cook for myself and I have to do this other stuff, and like those are fine, those are good things, but then I feel like in my procrastination against doing schoolwork, I end up watching YouTube videos instead of
instead
like
of, if you're gonna
doing
procrastinate.
right, instead of like sewing to procrastinate, I watch YouTube videos.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just like the whole day has gone
Yep.
by and it's 10 o'clock at night and I have to post my classes for the next day. And then my sleep schedule's all messed up. And yeah, it's,
Well,
I'm in a bad cycle this week.
oh, well, that's fine. Well, and I'm just also thinking, like you said at the very beginning, to be more merciful with yourself with regard to that, to just be like, you know what,
Yeah.
whatever, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
set the goals kind of low, expectations low, and that's okay for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, MSA.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Thank
that was
you.
a lot of food for thought there.
Yeah.
And thanks for
Uh,
everybody who is
is
watching.
there a, is there a way to save the
The
comments,
comments,
the chat?
possibly. Let's see here. Let's see if my mom or somebody else will come on. And if you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, feelings, you can say it in the chat. I don't know what my mom, she
Oh,
has.
she wants my email.
Oh, there you go. Linda's
If
on
you
top of
Oh.
it.
if you click on the chat and click Control A, it will select everything,
Oh,
and you can click Control C, which copies it and paste it into a Word document or any other kind of.
thank you. That's so nice.
You're welcome.
I know how to save it in Zoom because that's what I use for all my stuff,
Yeah,
but
I know.
I hadn't figured out here. Oh my gosh, it's so long, guys.
I know.